and honestly, I think that I looked like a ghost. I feel like it took 5 times longer than usual. Will I be trying it out again? Hey guys, what's up? I'm Maya and I'm super excited for today's video because I tried out a Korean makeup tutorial for the first time. I followed along with one on YouTube and I think that the results were pretty interesting. Into makeup and I love checking out other cultures' looks, like seeing what other countries are doing. I think you get so used to what happens here in the US that you forget that it's completely up to a culture and certain ideals and norms that influence what we think about beauty and makeup. And so sometimes it's kind of refreshing to see what other cultures do, compare it to your own and realize, yeah, this is pretty much just people making these decisions. You forget that makeup and beauty is really subjective, and so I love checking out other cultures, how they do makeup, and I think it's really interesting. So I thought it'd be really fun to follow a Korean makeup tutorial and pretty much see what happens. And when you think about Korean makeup or Korean beauty, who else do you think about than Pony? If you're not familiar with Pony, she is huge, and I mean huge. 4.2 million subscribers, kind of huge. She's pretty much a big deal here on YouTube. I'll leave her link down below in the description box. But I thought that that's the perfect person to follow when it comes to doing a Korean makeup style, because she is Korean and she does tons of videos on Korean beauty, and I thought that's the perfect starting point. So I went to a recent makeup look of hers and it was this one that's like a golden summer. It was called something actually summer. I don't remember. I'll link it again. It's this really beautiful summer look. I wanted one that was pretty recent and that I was fairly confident that I had enough supplies to actually recreate the look accurately. Alright, so the video starts off with her talking about this new foundation from Shiseido, and it's actually who sponsored the video. But anyway, she's talking about how innovative this foundation is and amazing. But when I saw it, honestly, it looked just like my Makeup Forever Face and Body foundation. And so I was like, perfect, I will use that. It's a really sheer foundation that looks pretty watery. It's actually called Water Blend Face and Body by Makeup Forever, and it has this really gel-like texture. It's sheer to medium coverage. It is definitely buildable, but I would say that it really focuses on being super natural looking. So Pony uses a sponge to apply her makeup, and it wasn't a beauty blender or anything like that. It was a pretty standard wedge sponge. So that's what I used to apply it. She pretty much just tapped it in and there you go. She had beautiful skin. So for foundation, Pony used a shade that's noticeably lighter than her natural skin tone. So that's what I did. And honestly, I think that I looked like a ghost. I was like, oh my god. No, when I first applied it. And honestly, as the routine went by, it didn't look so bad, and I think everything did combine pretty well together. On her, it looks amazing, but you know, I am more of like a medium skin tone, so I think when I go much lighter, it sometimes does look a little bit weird on me. After foundation, Pony moves on to her contouring, and for her whole routine, the steps that she actually takes were pretty different from what I usually do in terms of start with this, to go on to that. She really switched it up from what I think is typical in the United States and for personally what I do. And where she contours is completely different from where I personally contour and where I think the majority of Americans typically contour. So she highlights her face, and in general that was pretty normal. The only thing is that she didn't highlight under her eyes, so that's a little bit different than what we usually do in the US. For concealer, I used my Glossier Pot Concealer because it looked really similar to what she was using. Overall, I feel like the results were pretty similar. The main thing is that she used the tiniest brush on the face of the earth to apply her concealer, and I usually use my fingers, or I use my fingers and a beauty blender, or just a beauty blender, and I feel like it took 5 times longer than usual. No joke. It took much longer to apply, and she was like tapping the brush on her under eye area, and it took forever for me to do that. So just a heads up, I don't know if the results were just a little bit more precise. I feel like overall the Korean style that I saw from Pony was really focused on precision. So little gestures make a big difference, but it really is precise, and I really do like that, because I think sometimes we can be a little bit sloppy with just like boop, apply this, bloop, apply your powder, whatever, without really being as careful as it looked like she was. Then Pony moves on to her eyebrows. For her eyebrows, I love how she did them. They were relatively straight and pretty natural looking. I think overall I have naturally arched eyebrows that even when I tried to fill it in very straight, they were nowhere near as straight as hers were. But I did try, and overall in Korea, if you're not aware, that is pretty much the fashion there, to have straight eyebrows. And so here we definitely focus more on an arch, which is pretty interesting. Then Pony moves on to talk about this eyebrow gel that's like amazing, that keeps your products on, blah blah blah. I couldn't find it. I just didn't have access to that product, so I used a regular brow gel, and I feel like the results looked pretty similar. So the eyes were definitely my favorite part of the entire look. They were so bronzy and beautiful and golden. I just loved it, and they were super warm, which I'm all about. I actually recreated the look somewhat today using pretty much similar products, but instead of using it in a Korean style, today I'm wearing it in more of an American style, which I think was pretty interesting to see the contrast of what's usually done in Korea versus now how I look. So I didn't have the palette that she used, which was this Tartelette palette, but I had pretty similar colors. So I used my Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, and I think that those colors turned out just very good. I also used my little mini Tartiste palette, which I think looked really great as well. The main thing that I thought was pretty cool was that she only used 2 eyeshadows for the whole look, and it was such a gorgeous look. But she literally just goes and puts like orange all over and then gold in the center, and then that was it. And I think that that's pretty cool because in America we always use like 7 eyeshadows for every look. So I thought it was really cool that she just was like, no, I'm gonna keep it simple, and it still looked so gorgeous. And it's like, wow, you can really get a great look by using something so simple. It was definitely refreshing to see. And she used eyelashes that were pretty natural looking, so I actually skipped on the lashes because I didn't have ones that were as specific as hers were, so I just went on and used mascara. So she went back, finished her skin, added some blush, and it was a really pretty pink, very pink blush, and it looked so girly, and she placed it much more broadly than I think I usually do. I usually do more of like right above my contour, kind of avoiding the center of my cheeks. But she kind of just went ham and put it in a very generous portion, but she looked so like flushed, and it looked so young and pretty, very youthful, very circular instead of like linear like I feel like I do my blush. So that was pretty cool to see. Then she finished off her skin with a highlighter. How she applied her highlighter actually really stood out to me because I usually use a very light brush, like a fan brush or like one of those very fluffy highlighting brushes that everybody uses, but she used a really dense, thick brush, one I actually use normally for foundation, and she just went and applied it, and the results looked really nice. So I was like, you know, I do like that light-handedness that those other brushes give me, but I can definitely achieve a similar look with a more dense brush, and I thought that the results turned out really nice. Then to completely finish off her skin, she used a powder, but it was funny because she pretty much just put it on her forehead. Like she just went like boop 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 on her forehead. It's so funny because I always feel like I need to powder in the center right near my nose here to make sure I don't get too oily looking, or on my chin. So for her, she was just like, nope, I'm just gonna powder my forehead and a little dot on my nose, and that was it. And then she went on to lipstick, and for lipstick I used a similar reddish orangey shade, and I think that overall the results were so pretty. Would I do this again? Yeah, I think I probably would. I think it's a great go-to look for someone who just wants to embrace their natural skin. Overall, I had a really good time trying it out, and I think that's the whole point of it, right? To test something out, see something new, see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give me a thumbs up and click that little red subscribe button so you're up to date on everything that I do. Love you guys. Bye!